There may be one small detail in your wallet right now that is quietly working against you every single day, and most people never notice it until years of stress, pressure, and empty accounts have already passed them by. I am not talking about a bad credit card, a late fee, or some hidden bill. I am talking about something much more ordinary, something so common that you see it and ignore it. Yet it may be shaping the way money enters your life and the speed at which it leaves. Sounds too simple, right? Stay with me because what I am about to share could completely change the way you look at the money you carry. Have you ever had that strange feeling that money arrives and then disappears almost instantly? You work hard. You try to be careful. You tell yourself this time will be different. But somehow, by the end of the week, the money is gone again. Not always because you wasted it, not always because you were careless. It just slips away into bills, small purchases, sudden needs, and things you barely remember. If that feels familiar, then listen closely, because this is where it starts to get interesting. The answer may be sitting in your hand every day, and once you see it, you may never ignore it again. So before you do anything else, imagine opening your wallet tonight and seeing one hidden signal that has been sending the wrong message around your money all this time. And yes, in just a moment, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. For a long time, people have understood something that modern life often laughs at. Small things matter. The way you hold something matters. The way you store it matters. The energy around what you value matters. Money is not just paper, numbers, plastic cards, and transactions on a screen. Money responds to habits. It responds to order. It responds to respect. And many people live with a silent pattern where they earn, receive, hustle, push forward, and still feel as if something invisible keeps blocking the door before real stability can step in. They think the problem must be bigger. They think it must be the economy, bad luck, jealous people, timing, the wrong city, the wrong job, the wrong season. Sometimes those things are real. But sometimes the problem begins much closer than that. Sometimes it begins with the container. Sometimes it begins with the way you treat what you already have. And sometimes it begins with a signal you keep next to your money every single day without realizing what it suggests to your mind, your habits, and your emotional relationship with wealth. That is why this matters more than it seems. This is not just about color. It is about what that color represents. It is about the feeling it creates. It is about the way a tiny detail can shape bigger patterns over time. And in a moment, I am going to show you why one color in particular has such a strong reputation for tension, pressure, and financial leaks. Keep listening, because the next part is the piece most people miss. The color you may need to remove from your wallet is red. And before you roll your eyes, before you say it is only a color, before you tell yourself you have had a red wallet forever and nothing bad happened, just slow down for a second and think about what red usually means in everyday life. Red means stop. Red means warning. Red means danger. Red flashes when something is urgent. Red appears when numbers fall, when accounts are overdrawn, when pressure rises, when emotions burn too hot. It is the color many people connect with intensity, stress, conflict, and loss. So when that same color surrounds the very place where you keep your money, some believe it can create a subtle pattern of restriction instead of ease, of pressure instead of flow. Is that the only reason money leaves? No, of course not. But symbols shape behavior, and behavior shapes outcomes more than people admit. When your money sits inside a signal of tension, it can quietly reinforce a mindset of scarcity, panic, short-term decisions, and constant financial heat. That is why so many old households treated the color around money with surprising care. They believe the wrong container can tighten the feeling around what you earn. And when money feels tight, it often moves like it's trying to escape. If your wallet is red or has a red lining, or if you keep cash in a bright red pouch, purse, or holder, this may be the time to change it. Not tomorrow, not someday, tonight. And do not just swap it for any random color. Choose one that feels calm, grounded, steady, and open, because what replaces the old signal matters just as much as what you remove. If you are wondering what colors work better, think in terms of growth, depth, calm, and quiet strength. Green is often linked to growth, renewal, and steady expansion. It carries the feeling of life moving forward. Black can hold a sense of dignity, protection, and containment. It feels serious. It feels composed. It does not scream for attention. Dark blue often carries the feeling of wisdom, clarity, and control. It is calm. It is deep. It does not create heat around your money. These colors do not guarantee wealth. Let's be real. No wallet color can replace discipline, planning, and wise choices. But the environment around your money affects the way you treat it, and the way you treat it affects what you do next. This is where people start to understand that the wallet is not just storage. It is a message. It tells you whether money is welcome, whether it is respected, whether it is protected, whether it is being handled with intention or with neglect. And that leads to the second part of this whole picture, which may be even more important than the color itself. Because even if you replace the outside, the inside can still be full of chaos. And chaos has a way of draining energy from everything it touches. So ask yourself honestly, what does the inside of your wallet look like right now? Is it clean, ordered, and purposeful? Or is it stuffed with old receipts, dead gift cards, crumpled bills, expired papers, random scraps, and things you forgot months ago? Because what comes next may explain why some people earn enough and still feel broke all the time. A messy wallet may seem harmless, but it can quietly train your mind to treat money like clutter instead of value. Think about that. If your bills are crushed into corners, if cards are jammed in every slot, if receipts are folded like trash, if coins are scattered and notes are bent, what message are you sending through your own daily behavior? You may say you want more money. You may pray for more money. You may work longer hours to get more money. But if the money already in your hand is treated carelessly, what does that train your mind to believe? It teaches disorder. It teaches rush. It teaches that what you have now is ordinary, forgettable, and unimportant. And many people never notice that their financial life looks exactly like their wallet: crowded, disorganized, reactive, and hard to manage. There are people who make decent income and still live inside chaos because nothing is honored, nothing is arranged, and nothing is handled with intention. Then there are people with less income who create order around every dollar and somehow build stability step by step. That difference matters. The smallest ritual can shift your relationship with money. Take every bill out, smooth it, face it the same way, put larger bills behind smaller ones, or arrange them in clean order. Remove what does not belong, clear the old receipts, throw away what is expired, keep only what serves a real purpose. When your wallet becomes clean, your thinking often becomes cleaner too. This sounds simple because it is simple, but simple does not mean weak. Some of the strongest changes in life begin with one quiet act of order, repeated with care. I once heard a story about a hardworking woman who could never keep money, no matter how hard she tried. She was not lazy. She was not wild with spending. She did not live like a fool. She worked long days, counted every coin, and still watched everything disappear. Every month felt like a race she could not win. One day, frustrated and tired, she finally looked at the little pouch where she kept her earnings. It was beautiful, bright, soft, red. She loved it because it looked rich, bold, and special. But someone older and wiser told her something that stayed with her forever. If you wrap your livelihood in the feeling of pressure, don't be surprised when your money lives under pressure too. She changed the pouch. More importantly, she changed the way she handled what went into it. She stopped tossing money in without attention. She stopped mixing cash with scraps and useless notes. She gave money a place instead of a pile. And little by little, something shifted. Not magic, not fantasy, behavior, awareness, peace. She began saving without feeling forced. She spent with more thought. She stopped making nervous choices in tense moments. That is what so many people miss. The object itself is not performing a miracle. The object is helping create a state of mind, and that state of mind influences your actions every day. If you want your financial life to look different, then the places where money lives must start looking different too. That is why this is not silly. That is why this is not random. And if you think this is the whole message, stay with me, because the next part may be the most powerful part of all. The deeper lesson is not only about what color surrounds your money or how neat your wallet looks. It is about honor. It is about whether you treat what you already have like something valuable enough to deserve care. There is a huge difference between having money and respecting money. Many people want the first part but ignore the second. They want increase, but they do not create a place for increase to land. They want overflow, but their habits are full of waste, rush, and emotional spending. They want security, but everything around their money feels temporary and careless. That conflict creates stress, and stress leads to bad decisions. When you honor what is already in your hand, you change your posture toward abundance. You stop acting like money is only for survival and start treating it like something that should be guided with attention. Even a short pause before placing bills back into your wallet can matter. Even a quiet sentence in your mind can matter. Something as simple as, I respect what I have and I will handle it wisely. That moment of intention can reset the emotional energy around money. It slows down panic. It interrupts the habit of treating every dollar like it arrived only to vanish. And this is where many people begin to notice real change. Not overnight riches, not fantasy numbers, but less leakage, fewer careless choices, more awareness, more patience, more control. Those changes are not small. Those changes are the beginning of stability, and stability creates room for growth. But there is one more piece, and this is the piece that turns holding money into flowing money, because money that only sits can become stale, fearful, and trapped. You have probably heard people say they will give later, help later, be generous later, share later, once life feels safer, once they have more, once things calm down. But later has a way of never arriving. There is a powerful idea that money moves best when it is not trapped in a closed fist. When everything is held with fear, the flow becomes tight. When everything is guarded with panic, the heart around money becomes hard. And when the heart becomes hard, decisions become desperate. But when a person learns to let some of what they receive move outward with purpose, something changes inside them. They stop thinking like a dead end and start thinking like a channel. A channel receives, but it also releases. It is open on both sides. It does not choke on what comes in. It does not worship what passes through it. It values it. It directs it. It lets some of it do good. That may be helping family, supporting someone struggling, giving to a place of faith, supporting a real need, or setting aside a portion to bless someone quietly. The amount matters less than the posture at first. The habit matters. The openness matters. Giving can break the fear that says, if I release anything, I will have nothing. And once that fear begins to loosen, people often become smarter, calmer, and more mature with the rest of what they keep. This is not about being reckless. It is not about emptying your account to prove a point. It is about refusing to live in constant emotional clutching. Because when money becomes your prisoner, you usually become its prisoner too. I knew of a woman whose income was modest by every normal standard. She did not look wealthy. She did not talk wealthy. She did not live in luxury, but she had a strange kind of steadiness around her life. She always seemed provided for, not spoiled. not overflowing in a flashy way, just covered. Help showed up. Open doors appeared. Needs were met in ways that surprised people around her. And one of her strongest habits was this. Every time money entered her hands, she opened her hands too. Not everything, but something. First, not last. She did not wait until every bill was paid and every fear was quiet. She understood that if generosity only happens after perfect security, it may never happen at all. So she made giving part of the path, not the reward at the end of the path. Over time, that habit shaped her entire life. She became less anxious with money because she no longer treated it like a god that could save or destroy her. She became more thoughtful because every dollar had a purpose. She became more grateful because she noticed provision more often. And people around her started to trust her, help her, and remember her when opportunities appeared. That part matters too. A generous spirit changes not only your inner life, but also your relationships. And relationships often affect money more than people admit. Sometimes what returns to you is not cash in the same form. Sometimes it is a connection, a solution, a favor, a chance, a door, a timely call, a forgotten debt repaid, or a burden removed at the exact moment you need relief. Keep listening because all three parts are about to come together. When you step back and look at the full picture, you can see that this is really one system, not three random tips. The color of the wallet is the atmosphere. The order inside the wallet is the attitude. The flow of money through your hands is the action. Atmosphere, attitude, action. If the atmosphere feels tense, if the attitude is careless, and if the action is fearful, money often becomes a source of pressure, no matter how much comes in. But if the atmosphere feels grounded, if the attitude is respectful, and if the action is open and wise, then the whole relationship begins to shift. This is why some people keep earning more without feeling better, while others slowly build peace even before the numbers become impressive. Peace around money is a form of wealth too. Order around money is a form of wealth too. Self-control around money is a form of wealth too. These are the things that often appear before visible increase. And once they appear, they create a stronger place for increase to stay. So tonight, do not just hear this and move on. That is what most people do. They say, interesting, and then go back to the same habits that kept draining them. Do not do that. This is where change becomes real. Open your wallet. Look at it honestly. Remove the color that carries pressure if that color is there. Clean out everything useless. Arrange what remains with care, and make a decision that some of what comes into your hands will not end with you. That combination can begin shifting things faster than you think. And the next part is where we turn all of this into something personal and practical. Maybe you are in a season where you feel tired of starting over, tired of just getting by, tired of acting calm while silently doing math in your head every day, tired of watching money arrive with hope and leave with speed. If that is you, I want you to hear this clearly. Change does not always begin with a giant breakthrough. Sometimes it begins with one honest act that says, enough of the old pattern, enough of the hidden leaks, enough of the disrespect, the clutter, the panic, the waiting, the excuse that life will improve by itself. Sometimes your first step into a new season looks very small on the outside. Cleaning a wallet, replacing a color, folding bills properly, removing junk, setting aside a portion to give. But inside, those actions say something powerful. They say, I am no longer participating in chaos. They say, I am creating room for peace. They say, I am ready to handle what comes next with more wisdom than before. And that matters because your daily actions teach your future what kind of person you are becoming, not your wishes, not your mood, your actions. This is why even a short ritual tonight can carry more meaning than another week of financial worry. Do not wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment has kept many people trapped for years. Start where you are. Start with what is already in your hand. Start before fear talks you out of it. Because one thing is certain, if nothing changes, nothing changes. And if you want a different result, you must interrupt the old pattern at the level of habit. So here is what I want you to do before you go to sleep tonight. Take your wallet out and place it in front of you. Open it slowly and really look at it. If you see red around your money, make a plan to replace it with something calmer, deeper, and stronger. If you see clutter, remove it all. Every old receipt, every useless paper, every expired card, every random thing that has no business sitting next to your livelihood. Wipe out the chaos. Then take whatever money is inside and put it back with care. Smooth it, align it. Let your wallet stop looking like a struggle and start looking like a place of order. Then make one more decision. The next time money comes into your hands, do not let every bit of it get swallowed by fear. Set aside a portion on purpose. Let some of it move outward with meaning. Train your heart to live open, not clenched. And as you do these things, pay attention to what changes. Watch your spending. Watch your mindset. Watch your peace. Watch the way opportunities feel different when your mind is not full of clutter and urgency. This is not about superstition. It is about alignment. It is about symbols, habits, order, and intention all moving in the same direction. And when those things begin to line up, life often feels different long before the numbers prove it. That is when real momentum begins. That is when the leak starts to close. That is when money stops feeling like an enemy and starts becoming something you can actually direct. And one more thing, do not keep this as empty information. Use it. Test it. Let it become action, not just entertainment, because so many people hear a truth at the right time and still do nothing with it. They wait, they doubt, they scroll on, and then they wonder why the same pattern follows them month after month, year after year. Do not let that be your story. Let tonight be the night you change the signal around your money. Let tonight be the night you create order where there was disorder. Let tonight be the night you choose respect over neglect, intention over habit, flow over fear. If this stirred something in you, if you felt that quiet moment where the message landed deeper than words, then do not ignore it. Hold on to it, act on it. And if there is someone in your life who works hard but never seems to move forward, someone always exhausted by money, someone carrying silent stress they barely talk about, pass this message to them too. Sometimes one small shift changes far more than people expect. Sometimes one new practice becomes a family habit. Sometimes one act of order becomes the beginning of a completely different future. So clean the wallet, remove the pressure, honor what you have, keep your hands open. And then watch closely, because when you change the way you hold money, you often change the way money stays, moves, and grows in your life. That is where the new chapter begins. Not someday, not when life gets easier, now.